And those points that you're talking about reflect the device that was owned by Alex Cox. Is that correct?
The Google states belong to Alex Cox.
Okay. And on the items that were sent on the house, or excuse me, the apartments, those times and those pins were a reflection of a device that was owned by Alex Cox. Is that correct?
The same device.
Okay. All right. Thank you, officer. Go ahead. You can return to your seat. Can you tell me what the range of summaries is in this particular case? In other words, the start time for which range you subpoenaed Google and the end time for which range you ended. You're reflecting about 28,000 pages of documents. I'd like to know what the range is, the start range and the stop range.
You know, I would have to actually look at the search warrant again to be sure of the dates we requested.
Well, my recollection is you admitted that, did you not, as exhibit?
Search warrant 2019-86.
Okay. Do you have at least a recollection of what it may be?
From what I remember, and first part of September.
Okay.
Through December.
Through December?
Through when we served the search warrant.
Okay. All right. So we don't know how many times from September through December that those devices were on the Daybell property, then, correct?
We don't have a total number at this time, no.
Are you working on that?
There is things being worked on at this time,
Are
yes.
you working on that?
I am working with members of the FBI CAS team to come up with those numbers.
Okay, so in other words, we're going to, at some point in the future, there'll be a complete analysis of every date that this particular device or devices was not only in the apartment, but also on the Daybell property. That'll be forthcoming on this survey, correct?
Well, I can't answer for exactly what the CAS team is doing, but they are doing additional analysis on those times and those coordinates.
Okay. And that information has been preserved in the event there needs to be someone else taking a look at that as well, correct?
That is correct.
Did you have an occasion to talk with Mr. Daybell at any time?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Did you have an occasion to talk to Mr. Daybell at any time?
No.
You hesitated. Why is that?
I was trying to remember if I had said stand right over here or whatever while he was in the kitchen. I don't exactly recall.
Okay, so there's no recorded conversation or body cam of Mr. Daybell that you have in your possession. Is that correct?
I did have my body camera on that day as well.
Okay.
Have I reviewed that as of the last little bit? I have not.
Have you provided that to the prosecuting attorney?
I believe he has copies.
Judge, I have nothing else at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wood, any redirect?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you, Detective Stubbs. You can be excused from the witness stand. That exhibit, which number exhibit is that? 16. Thank you. Are there any other exhibits there in the witness cubicle? We'll allow cleaning to take place of the witness cubicle. Mr. Wood, who do you intend on calling as your next witness?
Your Honor, Spencer Ramos for the state. The state witness called Wynn Hill.
Say that one more time.
Wynn Hill.
Wynn Hill?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Wood, can I have the bailiff put that exhibit backwards again?
Yes.
You can leave that on there, Mr. Bailiff. If you just want to turn it around backwards and set it against the wall. Mr. Hill, if you'll come forward, stand in front of this witness chair, raise your right arm and face the clerk. Stand right there in front of the plexiglass and look at the clerk right here. Raise your right arm.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause now will tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so?
You can be seated here in the witness chair, Mr. Hill. Once you're seated, Mr. Hill, you may take off your mask. Mr. Wood, you may inquire.
Thank you, Judge. And again, Spencer Rummel for the record.
Mr. Rammel, I apologize. You may inquire.
Thank you, Judge. Can I have you state your full name and spell that name for the record?
My name is Wynn Hill, Wynnhill,
Mr. Hill, where are you employed?
at Brigham Young University, Idaho.
And how long have you been employed at BYU Idaho?
Just over 14 years.
And what is your current role at the university?
I currently serve as the Dean of Students there.
Does BYU Idaho use a student management system?
We do.
Are you familiar with that system?
I am.
How so?
I work in the student life area, and so we have a student life management system that connects to the larger student management system.
Mr. Hill, will you scoot a little closer to the microphone?
Sure.
Pull that microphone down a little bit, name it right at your chin,
There we go.
and then up at your mouth. That's great.
Great.
What information does your student management system hold?
Yeah, it holds information from the application process and other student enrollment information on a student.
Does your system allow you to look up current students attending BYU Idaho?
Yes.
Does your system allow you to look up past students
Yes.
that have attended BYU Idaho? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Does your system allow you to look up individuals who have applied but are not currently attending BYU
Yes.
Idaho?
It does.
Did you check your registration system for a specific individual who requested Rexburg Police Department in relation, to a missing persons investigation?
I did.
Who was that individual you checked for?
I believe they gave me the name of Tylee Ryan, Tylee Cox, Tylee Vallow. I checked all of those names with the date of birth of 9/24/02.
And can you tell me the date that you did that?
I can. It was February 28th,
And can you tell me-
2020. Sorry.
Okay.
yeah.
Can you tell me where you were when you checked it?
I believe I was in my office
On campus?
on campus. Yes.
And what was the result of that check?
Yeah, we couldn't find any information on that person.
So it's your testimony that names Tylee Ryan, Tylee Cox, and Tylee Vallow with the corresponding date of birth, September 24th, 2002, has never applied to BYU Idaho or has never been a student at BYU Idaho.
According to our records.
Judge, that's all I have.
No questions, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wynn. You can be excused from the witness stand. Mr. Rammel, may this witness be excused from the court.
From the state's perspective, yes, Judge.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Hill, for appearing. Mr. Rammel, you can call the next witness as well.
Your Honor, I'll take care of the next witness. The state calls Melanie Gibb.
Make sure you.
All right, well, that's interesting. My goodness. I do have video of her arriving at the courthouse a little while ago. She is there. She walked in with David Warwick hand in hand. She was all smiles. David Warwick looked like he was carrying a Bible, of course, because that's what these people do. So where is she? They don't know where she is. They called her to the stand. The bailiff went out to find her, and she's not there. So I guess we're having a recess until they figure out which portal she snuck through and go get her. Yeah. My goodness. You know, it's not surprising that Melanie Gibb is missing right before she's supposed to get on the stand. I'm not surprised. Are you surprised? This case, I'm telling you. Whew. All right, so we did hear from one of the cell phone experts. They talked about Alex's phone pings. I was really hoping they were going to talk about Chad's, but clearly Rob Wood is holding that back for trial. He doesn't feel he needs to get into that in order to prove to Judge Edens that they have enough to go to trial. So I guess we're not going to hear that. But then again, there are some FBI agents slated to testify from Salt Lake City, probably tomorrow. So we may hear it then. We don't know. But for today, we just heard more about Homer J. Maximus. I cannot wait to hear Paul's take on that name. That's going to be fun. So, yeah, Melanie Gibb has disappeared from the courthouse. Oh, good grief. Yeah, Jess, slow mode is on. It limits users to one message every 30 seconds, so it can still get kind of fast when there are lots of people in chat. So I can slow it down so people can talk slower, like once every 60 seconds, but if there's still 1,200 people putting in messages, it's still going to go fast. So we'll have to hope it holds out for now. If Melanie Gibb does get back here, I'm hoping they're going to come back in a minute, having found her, and we're going to see her on the stand. I hope so, because we've been waiting all day to hear from Melanie Gibb. I've been waiting since last week to hear from Melanie Gibb. So, my goodness, where did she go? Oh, man, I can't with this case. I mean, can you imagine if anyone was going to disappear out of the courthouse? I would have thought maybe Chad, but no, Melanie Gibb. There you go. And David, her boyfriend. We don't know if Melanie and David are married yet. I'm assuming they are because these people tend to marry very quickly. But I don't know. I have not seen a marriage certificate or anything. She's still going by Melanie Gibb. She has not changed her name as far as we know. So, so where could she be? All right. So I did look at the video. The person behind Wood is not Mark Means. That is Detective Hermosillo. Mark Means would have no reason to be in the courtroom. Remember, the courtrooms are not public at the moment. That's why we have the live stream, okay? Because you can be in the courtroom if you are a witness, if you are a family member, or you have a reason to be there. Mark Means would not have a reason to be in that courtroom today. So that was not him. Who are some of the other people? I don't know. The blonde woman, I'm assuming, is a victim's advocate or court advocate for the family. The woman in blue in the far back, no idea who she is. The guy in the blue shirt behind Chad off to the side there, I think he's a tech guy. I've been watching him and watching him typing and this and that. I think he's there for tech stuff. Could be, working with the Zoom feed or Court TV or something like that. But I don't know who all the other people are. So we'll just have to guess. But where the heck is Melanie Gibb? I'm checking my Twitter feed. Let's see. Nobody seems to know where she is. Everyone's saying she was called to the stand and then nothing because she didn't make it. That's kind of funny. Justin Lum says, this testimony is much anticipated. Gibb did podcasts with Vallow and Daybell, blah, 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 but he doesn't say where she disappeared to. I can't believe it. Yeah, this may be it for the day. If they can't find her, she's hiding in the little girl's room or something, or maybe she got scared and took off. Who knows? We may not get another witness today, so we're going to wait a few minutes, and then we'll see what the court has to say. Yeah, she accidentally fell in a porthole. That's possible. Oh, man. But yeah, Chad was looking a little nervous there, wasn't he? He was doing some new hand gestures, putting his hands in front of his face, and getting his little notepad out and stuff. He looked a little nervous. Oh, my goodness. She's out smelling the grapes. Like, oh, look, a grape tree. A grapevine. It's not really a grape tree, but she probably thinks it's a grape tree. Yeah, she's out looking for grape trees. They promised me more grapes. Yeah, I mean, I have video of her going in the courthouse. I don't know how she escaped. That cracks me up. That actually really cracks me up. Oh, man. All right, so we also heard from Wynn Hill, the Dean of Students at BYU, Idaho. And Tylee, whether you looked up her last name as Tylee Ryan, Tylee Cox, Tylee Vallow, anyone named Tylee with her birth date was never enrolled at BYU. None of us are surprised by that. It is nice to hear formal confirmation of it, though, but there you go. Paul, what are we going to do? Melanie Gibb escaped. Go find her. Oh, man. I can't believe that. Melanie Gibb is missing from the courthouse. She better that Awin said I should have a lawyer. And right now, I'm starting to think maybe she was right. I'm out of here. I got to go find me a lawyer. It's possible. It is possible. She won't be in contempt of court, no, because I don't think she is subpoenaed. She certainly isn't a hostile witness. I think she was called. She showed up to court, and maybe she decided to go to Starbucks and grab a coffee because she thought she had more time or something. So, no, she won't be in contempt of court for that. If she took off, maybe, but I don't think so. Because I think you'd have to be under a formal subpoena or something like that to get into it. I'm not sure. We'll have to ask our lawyer friend, Lori Hellis. She would know. Oh, but man, I cannot stop laughing. I mean, as much as I want to see her testimony, thinking of Melanie Gibb taking off right before she gets on the stage, it's just too much. It is too much. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, Paul, what do you think of Homer J. Maximus? You need to come on camera and talk about this. I'm going to drop him a StreamYard link. If he's available, he can come chat with us. That would be hilarious. We've lost Melanie Gibb. What are we going to do? Oh, good grief. Good grief. I really can't believe this. If they said Melanie Gibb, we all get excited. They go out to find her. It's like, well, come on. And then they have to have a recess because she's missing. Oh, yeah. Homer J. Maximus and missing Melanie. I knew this hearing wasn't going to disappoint. I really did. Oh, geez. All right. Well, technically, It is 5:30 p.m. over there. No, is it 3:30? It's 3:30 p.m. over in Idaho. So they have another hour and a half before the end of the court day. They may find her. Today she was wearing a pretty white skirt, and let me check the video. I think it was a black sweater. Let's go back. Where's the video? Yeah, she's wearing either looks like a black tank top and a short sleeve jacket and a cream colored skirt with black ballet flats and carrying a rather large black backpack, which is unusual for court. Not sure what was in the backpack. That could be interesting. Oh, Paul, if you're listening, I sent you a StreamYard link. If you want to come on for a minute, we'll talk about Melanie and get your opinion on Homer J. Maximus. That would be cool. Oh, yeah, Melanie. Yeah, Paul was rude. Please hold. Looking for Melanie Gibb. Please hold. Yeah, looking at the video, maybe that giant backpack she was carrying was really her go bag, her bug out bag. They walked into the courthouse, went out the back door, and took off. Nobody would be watching her, I wouldn't think, at least for this. She's there as, a friendly witness, so to speak. Oh, goodness. Who knows what happened? She could just be in the bathroom, maybe, or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm watching Twitter. No one seems to have found her yet. Let's see. Eric and Justin and Nate. No one's saying anything about Melanie. Hopefully they'll find her. Yes, the bag could be a portable portal. Or maybe she got raptured. Rick Lynn, that's also a very good thought. It's possible. Oh, goodness gracious. This is kind of crazy. So I guess we're just sitting here in limbo until we find out what happened to Melanie. Maybe I shouldn't think it's funny, but I really think this is funny. I really do. Of all the people to pull a stunt like this, that's kind of perfect. Oh, geez Louise. Oh, I think we're back. Are we back? I hear a little bit of noise. Let's see. Maybe they found her, or they're going to call someone else for today. Let's see what they have to say.
All right. Thank you. Please be seated. We'll be back on the record in State v. Daybell. The court took a brief recess to try and cool it down in here. Mr. Wood, is your witness ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gibb, if you'll please come forward. You can come here through the gate on this side. Ms. Gibb, if you'll stand here in front of this plexiglass, raise your right arm and face the clerk.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Ms. Gibb, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Gibb, you can be seated here at this witness chair. Ms. Gibb, if you'll scoot up to that microphone and then pull it down below your chin and aim it at your chin.
Okay.
Mr. Wood and Mr. Pryor, I think the record isn't picking up your voices as well as it is everybody else's. So if you'll do the same, pull that down and then point it up at your chin, it makes a much better record. If you'll pull it down, Mr. Pryor, and then point it up kind of like this so that you don't talk over it. Mr. Wood, you may inquire when you're ready.
Thank you. Will you state your name and spell it for the record?
Melanie Gibb, G-I-B-B.
Okay. Ms. Gibb, are you familiar with the defendant, Chad Daybell?
Yes,
Approximately when did you meet him?
about 3-4 years ago.
Okay. Do you remember where you met him?
Yes, I was in Morgan, Utah.
Okay. Since you've met him, what is the nature of your relationship?
The nature of our relationship was talking about some of the books that Chad had written and his relationship with Lori.
You mentioned Lori, is that Lori Vallow?
Correct.
Okay. Approximately when did you meet Lori Vallow?
October 2018.
And do you recall where you met her?
Yes, in Mesa, Arizona at a church.
Okay. What was the basis of your relationship with Lori Vallow?
It was based upon things that we talked about, which were spiritual in nature.
Would you call yourself, were you friends with Lori Vallow?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar, or do you know if Lori Vallow had any children?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Tylee Ryan?
Yes.
Did you ever meet Tylee Ryan?
Yes.
And did you ever have opportunity to see Tylee Ryan with Lori Vallow?
Yes.
Okay. And was Tylee Ryan Lori Vallow's daughter?
Yes.
Ms. Gibb, when was the last time you saw Tylee Ryan?
July or August of 2019
Where was that?
in her house in Chandler, Arizona.
Okay. Are you familiar with JJ Vallow?
Yes.
Who is JJ Vallow?
Lori's adopted son.
Okay. When you spent time with Lori, did you have occasion to spend time with JJ at all?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Gibb, I want to call your attention to, well, do you recall where you were between the dates of September 19th, 2019 and September 23rd, 2019?
Yes.
Where were you?
Rexburg, Idaho.
Why were you there?
I was there to visit Lori. I was also there to be at an event called Firm Foundation.
Okay. Do you recall when you arrived in Rexburg?
Thursday, the 19th.
And do you know approximately when you left Rexburg?
Yes, I left Monday, the 23rd, around 9:30 in the morning.
When you were in Rexburg, where did you stay?
In Lori Vallow's house.
Do you recall the address of that house?
No.
Do you recall the general location of that house?
It was a townhome. I don't know the name of the street.
Okay. Was that townhome located in Rexburg, Idaho?
Yes.
During that weekend, did you have opportunity to spend time with Lori?
Yes.
Okay. About how much time did you spend with Lori that weekend?
Most of the time, except for on Saturday, I spent most of the day, about 10 hours up the street at that event.
Okay. When you were at Lori Vallow's house, did you ever have occasion to see Chad Daybell there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall approximately how many times you saw him there that weekend?
2, 3, 4 times maybe.
Okay, so you don't recall an exact number?
Not an exact number, but I think every day. I think every day is probably, except for the Monday.
Okay, and it was Monday, September 23rd?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have occasion to witness Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell interact with each other?
Yes.
How did they interact with each other?
Affectionately.
Okay, and when you say affectionately, what do you mean by that?
Holding hands, hugging, light kissing.
Okay. Did you ever have occasion to speak with, when you were, during this approximately 4-day period in September, did you ever have occasion to speak with Lori Vallow about the nature of her relationship with Chad Daybell?
Yes, we talked about it often.
Okay. What did she tell you about that relationship?
That they were very much in love with each other and wanted to be together as soon as possible.
Okay. And did you ever speak with Mr. Daybell about that relationship?
Most likely, but I can't recall the exact words.
Okay. Ms. Gibb, during that September 19th to 23rd, 2019 period, did you ever see Tylee Ryan?
No,
Did you speak with Lori Vallow about the location of Tylee Ryan?
she informed me that Tylee was at BYU, Idaho, and mentioned something about being with friends.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When you were, during that same period, did you have occasion to see JJ Vallow?
Yes,
Where was he located when you saw him?
he was in the family room mostly, and then outside some.
Okay, when you say the family room, can you be more specific?
The room that's adjacent to the kitchen,
Okay, and what home was that located in?
Lori Ballow's home.
Ms. Gibb, I want to call your attention to the night of September 22nd, 2019. Do you recall what you did that night?
Ms. Gibb, you're facing the state. I'm going to invite you to turn your chair just a little bit so that I can
This way?
see
Oh, this way?
this way, so that I can see your face as you're speaking. I recognize you're answering Mr. Wood's questions, but I need to see your face as well as you're answering.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What did you do the night of September 22nd, 2019?
The night of the 22nd, I was doing a recording with Lori and David Warwick, and we were in the kitchen recording that.
Who is David Warwick?
He is a boyfriend of mine.
Okay. And you said you were recording a podcast?
Yes.
Okay. Was Mr. Daybell there during the recording of that podcast?
No.
Okay. Do you recall if JJ Vallow was there during the recording of that podcast?
I did not see him.
Did you see Alex Cox that night?
Yes.
Okay. What did you witness, or what did you observe Alex Cox doing that night?
He brought JJ into the house during the middle of the podcast.
Okay. And did you see him bring JJ into the house?
Yes.
Okay. How did Alex Cox bring JJ into the house?
He carried him in,
Okay.
and he was asleep.
And Judge, this may have occurred, but I'm trying to get a foundation as to the time again. I may have missed it, and I apologize if I missed it.
Mr. Breyer, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Do you mind pulling your microphone down and then aiming it up at your chin? So there you go. Repeat that one more time.
Judge, I missed the time, and I can't recall which time she said, if she did, when that occurred with Alex bringing the baby in. I don't recall.
All right.
I'll lay more foundation, Your Honor.
I didn't know if you did or not. I thought I may have missed it.
Please do.
Ms. Gibb, do you recall about what time Alex Cox brought JJ back into to Lori Vallow's home?
I can say we recorded the podcast between 9 and after midnight, a little after midnight. So someone in between that time.
Okay. You don't remember the exact hour?
I don't.
though? Okay. I'm going to call your attention to the morning of September 23rd, 2019. What did you do during the morning of September 23rd, 2019?
Upon awakening, I got ready for the day and came downstairs, had a brief conversation with Lori Vallow, and then got into the truck with David, and we drove off to Pocatello.
Okay. What was your conversation? Do you recall the content of your conversation with Lori Vallow that morning?
Yes.
And do you recall approximately what time you had this conversation with Lori Vallow?
sometime between 8 and 9.
Okay. What did you speak about with Miss Vallow that morning?
She shared with David and I that JJ was acting with a lot of energy and I'm trying to remember the words, but she recalled him climbing upon the refrigerator, knocking a picture down of Jesus, she said, and then climbing up upon the cabinets.
Okay. And did you see JJ that morning?
No,
Do you know if he was in the house that morning?
no,
Okay. And do you have any idea of where he was that morning?
no.
Okay. Over the course of that weekend, did you ever have a conversation with Lori Vallow about Kay Woodcock?
Yes,
What was the nature of that? Do you remember when during that weekend you had that conversation?
Friday, Saturday, it could have been
Okay.
several of the days, I'm not sure.
What was the nature of that conversation?
She was expressing that she wanted JJ to go live with Kay, and she expressed different solutions. He could either stay with Kay or I believe a son of Kay's that had a family already that JJ was comfortable with, or that they liked JJ and it was a good match. I think they had a little girl, and she said that she would express to Kay that he was that she was sick or something was wrong with her, so that she could live with him.
So that who could live with?
JJ could live with Kay.
Okay. And at any time after that weekend, did you ever have a follow-up conversation in regards to that subject?
Yes,
Do you remember approximately when you had that follow-up conversation?
it was shortly after. I can't recall.
What was the nature of that follow-up conversation?
I asked how it went, giving JJ to Kay. She told me that they met up in an airport, and she told Kay that she had breast cancer and that she would need help with JJ for a period of time, and she said it went well.
Okay. So was it your understanding after that conversation that JJ Vallow was located with Kay Woodcock?
Yes,
And had you ever met Kay Woodcock?
briefly.
When?
The time that Charles Vallow was moving out of his house in Arizona to Texas,
And who was Charles Vallow?
Lori's husband.
Okay. Ms. Gibb, I'm going to call your attention to the date of November 26, 2019. Do you recall where you were on November 26, 2019?
I do.
Where were you?
I was in Pleasant Grove, Utah, in David Warwick's home.
Okay. Now, do you live in Utah?
No,
Where do you normally live?
Gilbert, Arizona.
Okay. And so were you visiting Mr. Warwick that day?
Yes.
Did anything significant happen that day in regards to Chad Daybell?
Yes.
Okay. What contact, if any, did you have with Mr. Daybell that day?
I received a phone call from Chad Daybell from his cell phone to my cell phone, and I answered the phone call.
Okay. And do you recall approximately what time it was?
Late morning.
And you said you got a call from his cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know it was his cell phone?
Because when the phone number came up, it had his name on it.
Okay. And was that a contact you had previously stored in your cell phone?
Yes.
And was Ms. Gibb, had you previously had any discussions with Mr. Daybell through that same phone number?
Yes,
Um, Do you recall what that phone number was?
yes, it was 208-690-9374.
And I may have already asked this, I apologize if I did. Approximately what time were you called by Mr. Daybell that day?
Late morning.
Okay. What was the nature of that conversation?
He said, "Hi, Melanie, this is Chad. The Rexburg police are going to call you. Don't pick up." He
Okay.
said,
Where did the conversation go from there?
he let me know that the police were over at Lori Vallow's home in Rexburg, and that they were inquiring about where JJ was, and that she was going to tell the police that JJ was with me.
Okay, how did you respond?
In shock, and I can't recall if I said anything at that moment. Oh, I did say after the shock, I said, JJ's not at Kay's house.
And how did Mr. Daybell respond to that?
He said, no.
Okay. Was there any other content to that conversation?
I asked him if he was nervous, and he said yes.
Was anything else said?
I can't recall.
That same day, November 26, 2019, did you have any contact with Lori Vallow?
Yes,
Okay. Do you remember approximately where you were when you heard from Lori Vallow?
yes, I was in the same place.
Where-
And
Okay, and where was that again?
that was in Utah, in David's home.
And approximately what time did you hear from Lieutenant Vallow? Lori Vallow?
I possibly within an hour or two, I can't exactly recall.
Okay. And when you say an hour or two, what is that in reference to?
Her calling me, Lori calling me.
Right, was it an hour or two after what?
I'm sorry, Chad's phone call.
Okay. What was the nature of that conversation?
When I picked up, she said, "Hi, Melanie, this is," well, she probably didn't say her name, but she said, "Just want to let you know everything's fine." She was upbeat, cheery, acting like nothing was wrong.
What happened after that?
She told me that the police had been there asking for JJ, and that she told the police that I had JJ, that I was at a movie called Frozen, that she asked me just to pick up my phone and take a random picture of kids running around, and that she would come by and pick him up, and then, no, I'm sorry, that after me driving home from Utah to Arizona, that she would come and get him later that week.
I'm going to stop right there. Ms. Gibb. I'm going to point you back to this conversation or the statement about picking up your phone.
Mhm.
What did she ask you to do with that again?
Take a picture of random kids to make it look like it was JJ.
Okay. And I kind of lost track. I apologize.
It's okay.
You said something about driving down to Arizona. What was that part of the conversation? Who said what?
So she knew that I was going down to Arizona for Thanksgiving, back to my home. And she said that she told the police that she was going to pick him up from my house from Arizona, which I had no previous knowledge to this. This was new information to me.
Okay. Did Lori say anything else to you about JJ?
I can't recall exactly, but I can recall what she talked about Kay.
Okay, what did she say about Kay?
She said that Kay was trying to kidnap JJ. And I said, how do you know? And she said, well, I've received emails, being threatened that he was going to kidnap her. I said, well, what does she say? And she said, well, she sent me emails, and she said, she quoted Kay saying, it's not like I'm going to kidnap him or anything. And that she was trying to protect JJ and from her and other people, not just Kay, but possibly family members as well.
Okay. And you said that to your perception, she seemed upbeat and positive. Were
Yeah.
those the words you used?
Yes.
To your perception, when you spoke with Mr. Daybell that day, how did he sound?
Very nervous.
Is that why you asked him if he was nervous?
Uh-huh.
After receiving these phone calls, how did that make you feel?
Horrible. I felt in shock. I was not okay with it because she told something to the police that was not true, which I had no knowledge of. So I had a really bad feeling in my stomach, and I felt very shooken up by it.
Okay. Do you know if the Rexburg police attempted to contact you that day?
They did.
Okay. How did they try to contact you?
They tried calling me, and once I believe they left a text.
Okay. And did you respond to them that day?
Not the Rexburg police, I did not.
Okay. How come? Is there a reason?
Well, first of all, Chad tells me not to answer it, and then Lori tells me that her child is in danger. So I'm not sure what to believe or understand what's going on this time. I'm very confused.
Okay. Did you speak to any law enforcement that day?
Yes.
What interaction did you have? Do you know which law enforcement agency you spoke with that day?
Gilbert Police.
Okay. And do you recall if there was a specific individual you spoke with that day from Gilbert Police?
Officer Ryan Pillar.
I'm sorry, can you say
Officer Ryan Pillar.
Ryan Pillar?
Correct.
And do you know how that last name is spelled?
Pillar, or there could be a Y, so I'm not for sure.
What contact did you have with Officer Pillar that day?
He called me, left a message, and I returned his phone call.
Okay. What was the nature of your conversation with Officer Pillar?
He was responding to the Rexburg police and was asking about JJ and his whereabouts.
Okay. And what did you tell him?
I told him that I had been with JJ, but that he was back with Lori.
Okay. When you said you had been with him, what did you mean by that?
That he was with me, and then she came to get him.
Okay.
So that it would turn the police back to Rexburg and not with me, because
Now, Ms. Gibb, had you recently had JJ with you?
No,
So when you told Detective Pillar that you had, was that an accurate statement?
no, it was not.
Okay. And did you believe that JJ was actually with Lori at that time?
I was not sure.
Okay. So was that, pursuant to the knowledge you had, was that an accurate statement?
Yeah,
Okay. But did you also tell Detective Pillar that JJ was not with you?
correct.
And was that an accurate statement?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a reason you told Detective Pillar you had him?
Yes, because Lori was misleading and she was manipulating me or trying to convince me that he and she was in danger. And so because our friendship, I thought, I have really no idea if this could be true or not. And I was very perplexed, very troubled, and I really did not know what to do. I was trying to reconcile all these feelings I had.
Okay. Did you have any subsequent contact with the Gilbert Police Department?
Yes,
And do you recall approximately when that was?
I believe it was December 7th or 8th.
Okay. And what contact did you have with the Gilbert Police Department?
I called Officer Pillar and I informed him that who I was and that probably a lot more detail about the conversation about what happened, about JJ and Lori and Chad. And I also had something that I had recorded that I wanted to give to him.
Okay. Let's talk about that. What had you recorded that you wanted to give to Officer Pillar?
I recorded a conversation with Chad and Lori on Chad Daybell's phone, about 21-minute conversation. And that conversation was about where was JJ? The conversation talked about why did you tell the police that I had JJ when I did not? And she explained that. And I also explained to her my concern for her salvation and Chad's, and that they had been very deceived. And I also wanted to make sure that the police knew that I did not have anything to do with this.
Okay. How did you record that conversation?
On a cell phone.
Okay. You mentioned earlier the conversation was with Chad's number.
Correct.
Was that the same number you discussed earlier?
Correct.
And what phone did you use to have this conversation?
My phone, and then I had a recorder phone on David Warwick's, and so I put my phone on speaker, and then I recorded it with his phone.
Okay. Had law enforcement asked you to record a conversation with Mrs. Vallow or Mr. Daybell?
No.
Okay. So this was something you did of your own accord?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember, and maybe you already answered this, what day you made that recording?
December 8th.
And where were you located when you made that recording?
I was in David Warwick's home.
I'm sorry, where?
I was in David's home.
Oh, okay, David Warwick's home.
Yes.
Okay, I apologize, I misheard you. And again, is that the same home in Pleasant Grove, Utah?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, the state would ask that state's exhibit that is marked as Exhibit 19 be shown to the defense and handed to the witness.
Exhibit 19 is being handed to the witness.
Ms. Gibb, do you recognize the state's Exhibit 19?
Yes.
Have you seen it before?
Yes.
Have you reviewed the contents of that disc?
Yes.
And when did you review the contents of that disc?
Yesterday.
Okay. And what is on that disc?
It's the exact conversation that I recorded on my phone.
Okay, and is that the same conversation you shared with law enforcement?
Yes.
And was it Detective Pillar that you shared that with?
Yes.
Okay. And the recording on that disc, is it a true and accurate representation of the original recording you made?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, the state would ask that State's Exhibit 19 be entered into evidence.
No objection.
Exhibit 19 will be admitted.
Your Honor, the state would request that Exhibit 19 be published.
Would you like to publish that on the screen here that's hanging on the wall?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there video and audio or just audio?
Just audio.
Miss Warwick, or excuse me, Miss Gibb, if you'll hand that exhibit to Madam Bailiff. Madam Bailiff, was there another disc in there?
Yes.
Will you please hand that disc to Mr. Wood so that he can identify it and we can make sure that that gets put into evidence?
Your Honor, that is State's Exhibit 14. It's no longer in the case with the marker.
Okay.
Your Honor, would you like me to hand this to the bailiff or?
Yes, please hand it to the bailiff. Madam Bailiff, do you have the envelope that shows, okay, Exhibit 14? All right, and Madam Bailiff, or Mr. Wood, the disc that has been placed in the television at this point is Exhibit 19, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
You're moving to publish that?
Yes.
Mr. Pryor, any objection to publishing Exhibit 19?
No objection, Judge. Thank you.
You may proceed, Mr. Wood.
Thank you. Your Honor, we seem to be having a similar problem as earlier.
I think it's a really good time for a break. It's getting extremely hot in here again. We'll take 15 minutes so we can cool it down in here and we'll reconvene here in 15. We'll be back on the record in State versus Daybell. The court took a brief recess to cool the courtroom down, the air conditioner, as well as to allow Mr. Wood some time to get his technology ready. Mr. Wood, do you wish to proceed with publishing Exhibit 19?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may do so.
This is a recording on December 8th at 3:43 p.m. And I am calling Chad Daybell's phone number, and hopefully I will be talking to both of them, Chad and Lori. So here goes the phone call.
Hello, sweet Melanie.
Hi, Chad. Hey, Lori. How
Hey,
are
let me put on speaker.
Oh, okay.
All right.
We're enough with the phone. How are you guys?
We're okay. How are you doing, babe?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. I was wondering, where are you guys?
We're just hanging out.
Hanging out? Are you in Idaho?
We're near Idaho.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to ask you a question, if you don't mind, Lori.
Yeah, of course, honey.
I want to know, you remember we talked about JJ going to Kay's house, and you told me they went there, and now he's not there? I was wondering what happened.
Well, I had to move him somewhere else because of her actions. So,
Was she doing something? Like, was she trying to come get him or something, or like trying to kidnap him?
well, she said that lots of times before, but,
Okay, when I asked Chad the other day, I was like, hey, where is JJ? And he said, for my security, he didn't want me to know. So is there a reason I should be in danger to know where he is?
no, it's nobody, it's his danger. It's the danger that there's people after me.
Okay,
We
So,
just felt that if you knew, that puts you in a danger.
well, just in a bad position. If
Yeah, bad position.
everybody, if they don't know anything, then they don't have to say they know.
right, so you're just worried, okay.
I'm just to keep him protected and
And keep you protected.
keep everybody else good.
I appreciate that. Well, I was wondering why you told the police why he was with me.
I just needed to have somebody so I wouldn't have to tell them where he really was, because they were going to tell Kay where he is.
Oh, yeah. So do you think it's like your family, or, like your family, your dad, or, those
Well, my
people?
family, well, not my whole family, but as you know, most of my family is working against me and
Yeah,
with her, basically.
yeah. Is JJ safe?
He is safe and happy.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Are you afraid of anything? Like, are you afraid to tell me that you're just afraid that that I could be in danger? Like like I don't, like if I knew, like how could that hurt me? I don't understand how that could hurt me if I knew where he was.
Well, I'm just not telling anybody so that nobody has to say where he is or get questioned to where he is, so I can keep him as safe as possible.
Yeah. Okay, I hope that he's okay. I hope you guys are okay. I did have a question that I asked Al at one point, your brother, if I wanted to know, like where he was, and he said I did not want to know, and that he could not be found. So what does that mean?
I don't know why he would say that, but it's the same story. Like I don't even want Al to know. I don't want anybody to know, so that nobody has to be worried about it. I mean, nobody has to be questioned about it, so he can be safe.
Yeah, so how long are you gonna be away for? Like, are you ever gonna be able to come out and come back to society again? Or are you gonna keep, come back? What does that look like?
I will do whatever the Lord needs me to do every day, so we'll see.
I just wondered if I was ever gonna see you again.
Absolutely, you will.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So maybe when they're done chasing you, you'll be able to come out again, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculous thing for them to be working with Kay to find me. There's nothing that's gone on that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're working with her in some dark capacity. The police are working with her in some dark capacity. There's no reason for them to be after me in the first place.
Yeah, has she threatened you at all?
Yes, lots of times.
Oh boy, what did she say?
Well, it's in emails and everything, so.
So like, she said she was gonna come take him, or she was?
There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Nellie.
I know, it sounds like it. I'm just worried for you guys because, he's missing, and,
I know exactly where he is. He's perfectly fine and happy.
Okay, well, I hope so. I had a scripture I wanted to share with you, if you don't mind.
I'd love it.
I was thinking about some of the things you guys have gone through, and I saw this scripture today, And I want you to
Let me
contact.
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question
Yeah.
about scripture. Okay, so did Alma turn himself into King Noah? Or what was he required to do?
Well, King Noah was incredibly wicked.
Yes.
And so he fled his evil ways, which is adultery and living riotously and breaking all the commandments. He was a
Right.
very
So what
unrighteous man.
what was he required to do, Alma?
He had to go and flee so that he would be safe and then help other people realize how, jacked up the system was and the government was.
What about Moroni? What was he required to do at the end?
To carry on those plates and bury them. That was
What
his
did he have to do to
responsibility.
do that? What did he have to do to do that? Did he hide?
He had to hide. He had to hide because they were so, everybody was killing everybody in the society. Everybody was dying. They were killing all the Nephites.
Felt and the scriptures had to hide in the cavity of a rock by day and go out by night.
The prophets did.
They did.
Yeah. Okay,
So
well, thank you for sharing that with me.
Scripture.
Okay, this scripture is just something that may be thoughtful for you. For behold, this is Doctrine and Covenants, section 3, verse 7 and 8. It says, for behold, you should not have feared man more than God. Although men set not the counsels of God and despise his words, yet you should have been faithful, and he would have extended his arm and supported you against all the fiery darts of the adversary. He would have been with you in every trouble. So when we work with the Lord and are obedient, He's going to protect us from adversarial darts and all kinds of negativity. But when we open the door to Satan, he comes in and then he attacks and then he takes away to make it look like somebody else took it away. But that's not how God works. He doesn't work in darkness.
I agree with you 100%. And that's what the Lord is doing for me. Exactly what he's doing for me.
Oh, it just sounds
We have
weird.
not opened the door for darkness now. Darkness is knocking on the door all the time because that's the way dark works with the light. And I promise you that I have done nothing wrong in this case, but sometimes you have to hide in the cavity of a rock for your own life safety. And that's what the Lord requires of you sometimes. And that's how it is. And I'm sorry that's how it is because there is a lot of darkness on the earth.
I know.
It's been after me for zero reason besides the darkness of Kay, which you already know she's dark.
I haven't met her enough to know if she is dark or not. I've just met her slightly and she seemed like a normal kind of person, but then I haven't engaged with her that much. So I don't know that personally.
So you don't know about her changing the thing for herself to be the beneficiary of the policy and all that stuff. None of that's dark, right?
Well, I haven't seen those documents, so I have no way of knowing.
You've seen them on my computer.
No, I have not. I haven't even looked in on your computer before. You haven't showed me anything.
I don't know why you're being controversial to me or if you're recording this conversation for the police or whatever. I don't know what your intention is on this phone call.
Well,
but I love you with all my heart and I have forever. And I will always love you.
I appreciate those words, but if you really loved me, you wouldn't have told the police that I had JJ with me. That's not what a friend does. I mean, that just makes me look weird, and it's not safe for me. That doesn't look good. I mean, you had to think of my welfare if you love me.
I do, and I did exactly what I felt the Lord was instructing me to do. And I appreciate you, and I love you. And I never do anything to harm you. And you can have all of this confirmed to you by the Lord.
I have. And my conscience is clear. I feel very understanding what's really going on, Lori. And I believe that you have been very deceived by Satan. I believe that he has tricked you. And I don't believe that what you're doing is correct. I just don't. I mean, Tammy dies, and then your husband died, and then he's missing. It just doesn't sound like God's plan to me. It just sounds. It gives me a gut feeling, like in my gut, it feels weird. It doesn't feel right. I don't have peace about it. I never have felt 100% peace about it. I always felt like a little weird in my stomach about all these things.
You know me, Mel. You know me. This does not sound like you. This sounds like you've been influenced by somebody dark who wants you to believe dark things and have fear of the celestial world.
I don't have fear.
You obviously do.
No, I have a peace of conscience and I can see clearly.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I love you so much.
I know you do. I don't know what else to say.
Stand Christ when he comes again, and he's coming soon, and we will all stand there, and you will know at that point that he has supported me and has supported me the whole time, and I have not been deceived.
I just want to testify that I know Tammy does have the conspiracy theories. My sister-in-law's right behind it all, and I hope that you're not being influenced by that dark team.
I don't know who she is. I'm sorry, you said your sister-in-law? I don't even know her.
Oh, I know, but she's coming up with the same type of theories. And it's just not true. My own children were there. They testified that Tammy had been getting weaker and sick, and I begged her to go to the doctor. Her heart was failing her. She was physically falling apart, but she hates doctors, and she just passed away. That's how it happened. My son Garth was right there with me the whole time. My kids were at the house within 20 minutes of her passing. There were 2 coroners. They checked her out right there on the bed. All these conspiracy theories just make me sick to my stomach. Just absolutely sick. I know I've been told for years that Tammy would pass away at a young age. And I had no idea that Lori would even be a part of my life. I just knew that my life had 2 segments. And that I know Tammy's on a special mission and she's with my kids. She's visited them. There's so much, Melanie, that you just have to have faith. And this is not some sort of master plan. There's no way Lori and I could ever come up with this. It's just...
You can understand my concern, correct?
I can from an outside perspective, but from
someone who knows as much as you know, no, not really. But we can feel Dave's influence on you. I can feel that for sure.
He's a very good man, and he has a very strong foundation, that I know.
I know, but he seems to be the one that's putting the doubts in your mind.
No, you know what? I have come to understand that my gut feeling, I was not listening to it. And I always felt uncomfortable with many things.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry that I included you in those teachings then for your own sake, because I wish that you didn't have as much knowledge as you have, because you will be accountable for the knowledge that you do have, no?
So are you.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I have no fear.
Yeah.
I have no fear of that.
But I really, as I was reading the story of Chloroform, and it is so very similar to this, you just can't see it. But he did it because he was trying to reclaim a people, and he thought at the very end, because of his carnal and natural desires, that's what influenced him. And he was very deceiving.
Carnal natural desires?
Well, honey, you got a lot of natural desires. We all know that.
That's what you think is me, Cora? Are you kidding me right now?
I think both of you have similarities. It's in the scriptures. It's in the scriptures. And the scriptures are very powerful.
Yes, they are. I live by the scriptures, as you know.
I know, but we can wrest the scriptures for our own vain glory.
I wrested the scriptures?
We can do that. And I feel that you have to see our belief systems.
Do I wrest the scriptures? Is that what you're accusing me of at this point?
I feel that you have.
Why do you feel that way? I need an explanation on this.
Because if you look, like the scripture just shared. Okay.
You read the scriptures every single day, you know?
I know you read them. I don't doubt that. But this scripture right here says that you will be supported by all against the fiery darts of the adversary. You would have been supported if you had not opened dark portals and dark junk. You would have been safe if you would have obeyed God, he would have had your back, but you have been chased and tortured.
Whether you do this or not,
I'm sorry?
he has your back. So,
well, if he has your back, you would not be able to tell me where you are, and we couldn't find JJ. Like, where is he? I've been asking, where is he? And you know what I mean? Like,
I can tell everybody where JJ is right now, and that would not be good for JJ. So I'm sorry that you don't want me to protect my children, but I would never ask you to not protect your children.
Of course you wouldn't.
So I can tell that you're just adversarial, Mel. I love you. I'm sorry that you feel this way.
Because I actually do care. I'm sharing what I feel for you because I know your salvation's in trouble for what you've done.
If my salvation is not in trouble at all, and I think you should check that with the Lord again.
Well, I felt a lot of things from the Lord, and this doesn't feel right.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, sweetheart. I'm sorry that you're friends with all those who are against me. Joseph Smith's friends turned against me.
I'm not friends with people that are against you.
Apparently you are.
I am not. I don't know Kay. I don't know who you're talking about. Your sister, I don't even know what her name or who she is. I don't know any of those people. Why would they contact me anyway? How would I even know about that?
Well, you're friends with Dave, and he's apparently, now.
Well, David is a very righteous man, and I've always known that grounding about him. And he has a lot of beautiful experiences with the Lord, and these are not the same. You know, when you get the priesthood, that's Peter, James, and John shows up, and then he confirms all of those in the circle that are to get it, and everybody's a witness of that. Everybody's a witness that the pattern is in the scriptures. There's no witness that you ever receive what you think you received. Nobody has seen that but you. There's no witness. The witness, Joseph Smith, Oliver Cowdery, Martin Harris, the 8 witnesses, they all showed up.
Was there a witness when Jesus, Heavenly Father, gave that to Joseph Smith by himself in the grove? Was there a witness?
No, but they had it later with other people. That was one experience, but others joined in later. When he brought other people into it, they had experiences.
Scriptures, yes or no?
I'm sorry?
Is that in the scriptures, yes or no?
That Joseph was alone when he saw God the Father and Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Yes, he was alone.
He was alone.
But he had to open it up first.
That's not a pattern at all.
Honey, what I'm saying is that after he saw that and other people joined in, they saw the things with him. He wasn't alone. There was a witness for them. There was no witness. Anybody's never seen what you've seen or experienced what you've seen. That is your own witness, but nobody's had that.
No, God knows it, and I will never deny it. For my soul would be at stake if I did. So you can say it didn't happen to me, Mel, but if I say it, then I am accountable. You didn't witness it, but I did.
But your behaviors is not, okay, I understand that's what you believe you saw, but this is the thing, as I see, is that your behavior is not one of somebody that's in Christ. Your behavior. What?
Never had any idea that you would be the person of all people to turn me. I cannot believe
I am asking questions, and I am concerned for you. That is what somebody does when they care.
You don't sound like you're concerned. You sound like you're accusatory. You do not sound concerned. You sound pissed off.
I'm not. I am troubled. Maybe that's the better word. Troubled. Because these things, like you being with Chad before he's even divorced, is unusual behavior for a person that's seen Jesus Christ.
I was never with him, and he was never divorced.
Honey, I've seen you guys together. So I haven't ever seen you with, I've never seen you with Chad kiss him and walk around the track at BYU with him. I never saw that. You
say you're the one that's feeling guilty about being with someone before they were divorced.
Oh, honey. I think that's not what we're talking about here.
Well, it's not what we're talking about here. That's what I'm saying. You are going off the deep end.
Well, I'm just saying this is not a behavior of someone that sees Jesus Christ. It's not the behavior.
Really? Have you ever seen Jesus Christ? So do you know what the future behavior would be if you had seen Jesus Christ?
I know that when I pray.
Lord asks me to do every day, and he does protect me, and he is protecting me, and he will protect me against this accusation as well. And we will both stand there with him, and you tell me if I was lying or not. but we're both standing there with Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Skip, was that the natural ending of that conversation?
I'm sorry?
Was that how that conversation ended?
The phone cut off. I could have been because it was in a basement apartment.
Your Honor, the state has no further questions at this time.
Mr. Pryor, looks like we have about 10 minutes until 5 o'clock. Can you give me an idea of how long you foresee the cross-examination taking here?
Judge, I anticipate much more than 10 minutes. I spoke with Mr. Wood and we thought it was best if the court would oblige us and then forego the next 10 minutes and allow me to start my cross in the morning. If that's acceptable to the court, I would respectfully ask that.
We will recess for the day. We'll reconvene tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Are there any issues? Well, first of all, let's grab that disc out of the player right now, Madam Bailiff. Madam Bailiff, are there any other exhibits that are attached to the easel? We'll take those exhibits right now. Madam Clerk, just so we're clear, do we have all exhibits in our possession 1 through 19 at this juncture? We'll reconvene tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Mr. Wood, Mr. Pryor, is there anything else that we need to take up here today?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Treasurer